Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We got a new trailer sitting behind me. It is a 2022 Cimarron Norstar 5-horse. So this is a really cool trailer. What we do is we have some 4s, 5s, and 6s set up like I'm going to show you on this trailer. So usually we have these on order already. This customer called in, hey, I'm looking for a 5-horse. I like this kind of concept, and then from there we took an inventory piece, made the changes. We were still at that point where we could, so we make it basically their own. That's the nice thing about these Cimarrons I like to refer to them as a fingerprint. I mean, every one of them is a little bit different. You can put your own little stamp on them and really build them exactly how you want them to. So again, it's a 5-horse. Let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing before we kind of jump into the trailer and start showing you some options. What we're looking at here is, again, it's a 5-horse. We've got the dual side tack doors on this trailer. Again, this is a trailer we had on order. It's really been popular in our 4s, 5s, and 6s. What we're looking at is an 8-foot wide trailer. The reason why is we went with the standard, and then the customer wanted to go 8-foot with the Mangers. So I'll show you those as we work into it. But it's 7'4" tall, 8-foot wide. So we have that extra width and extra height that a lot of customers are really looking for in today's market. And then we're 27'3" on the floor. So this isn't a massive trailer by any means when we truly look at this, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when I walk you through the tack room, show you how it's laid out, show you all the extras as we work through this trailer. Before we start, all aluminum construction. Is a Cimarron, you have an 8-year structure warranty, you have 3 years hardware, basically nose to tail on this trailer, and then you have a 1-year no questions asked warranty on your tires. But a couple things. Today we've got this hooked up to this Ford. This is a truck that we do have for sale. Larry's going to be doing a video on it shortly after this. But I wanted to show you one of the things that we've been doing over the last few years. We understand that these trucks continue to get taller. Now this is a 3/4 ton, so a little bit softer springs, so it did squat the truck a little bit more. But one of the issues we're running into with the newer truck manufacturers and the beds getting higher is bed clearance and also making the trailer run level. Those are two things that need to work in hand. We want bed clearance, so we're not dinging up a bed on these really expensive pickups in today's market, but we've paid for 2 axles. We want the trailer running level and running on those 2 axles for equal weight distribution. So one of the things we were running into is in about early 2000s, the industry standard for a gooseneck drop wall is 47 inches. Well, what happened? Trucks got taller. So in the trailer industry, we adjusted. We went to 50 inches. And we've been at 50 inches for quite some time. But all of these newer trucks, even the new GMs, have gone up 2 inches in bed height over the last couple of years with their new body styles. Is now we were running into the issue of no bed clearance, or it was nosed up. You had one of the two. So we've gone in on a lot of these trailers and made our gooseneck drop wall 53 inches. And the reason why is because now we can actually hook onto one of these trucks and really get quite a bit of bed clearance here. So right now we're sitting at about 9.5 at the front, and as we get towards the back a little bit, you'll get to about 8 inches. So that's what I always shoot for, is I really want to see something on a using trailer 6.5 inches or more. Ideally, I want to see 8 inches. I want to be able to put my pinky on the bed and either just graze the bottom or not touch it at all. That way I know I've got plenty of bed clearance. And now I will never say that you will never get into your bed. There are situations and circumstances where it still could happen, but now we've drastically changed the odds of that happening. So this is a 53-inch gooseneck drop. We do that on a lot of our using trailers. We'll take it a case-by-case basis. I mean, if we're dealing with the air ride trailer where it's actually going to pick the trailer up 2.5 inches, we're running on 17.5, 19.5 wheels. You know, if we block a trailer, axle articulation, I mean, there's a lot of things that come into play. So it is kind of a case-by-case basis, but for the majority of our using trailers, goosenecks, stock combos, 3, 4-horse, 5-horse, 6-horse, in those, we're usually doing that. The other thing too is we have that extra height. We're 7'4" tall, standard 7'1". So the 3 inches that we cut up, we went up anyway. So it didn't really affect the gooseneck height on the interior at all. So that's one thing that we've been doing over the last couple of years. We'll continue to do it. Again, we'll do it a case-by-case basis. Now let's talk about some options on this. You know, it's a 5-horse, got a good sized tack. It's 8 foot wide, a lot of storage. They opted to go ahead and put a hydraulic jack on this. Definitely worth its weight as far as what you're going to spend on it, just because of it is so simple to push a button and up and down this trailer goes. With that, you're going to get your aluminum battery box located over to the right there if you're looking at it. But these electric over hydraulic jacks are fantastic. We actually do the version that has the manual override, so in emergency situations we could get this on or off the truck if we had to. But boy, it is sure handy to push a button. Now let's take a look at this tack room, because over about the last 18 months this has really become my personal favorite on these type of trailers. If you're looking for a using trailer with a little bit more tack, we jokingly refer to it around here as a his and her side, because we have a tack door on driver's side and a tack door on passenger side, and with that we've mirrored them. So swing out saddle rack on each door. This is a 5-horse. We opted to just go ahead and do 6 saddle pads, 3 on each side. These are adjustable so you can move them up and down. You've got your blanket bars on the door. It's on a gas shock as well, so you can pull that out and away from the door, and then a brush tray on the door for kind of some smaller miscellaneous items. But then as we get into this tack room, again, I love the way that this feels. You can go in if you want and add more length to it if you'd like to, but this is kind of our standard as far as our short wall goes, because in order to do the swing out saddle racks, we need a 42-inch wide door, so we have to have the proper framing on each side of the door in order to put this bigger door on here for the swing out. But you can go in and add some additional length. We can do 3-inch increments with Cimarron, so that's pretty fantastic to be able to really adjust. You know, you're not set on, hey, it's a foot you got to add to the trailer. I mean, if it's as simple as 6 inches, you can do that. So, but in here, let's take a look. Up in the neck, very, very standard. You've got your carpet on the deck, carpet on the gooseneck drop wall. You have windows. So with this being an 8-foot wide trailer, you know, you can get a big mattress up here if you'd like. Bedroll, sleeping bags, you can see out, create a little airflow between them. Over on the passenger wall, we opted to put a shelf. There's a lip under there, so you can put some items up top, and then a clothes bar across there. Just trying to get you some additional storage. Understand maybe you're going to a show, an event, you need to change clothes. It's great, you can just hang it right there. Now it's not in the pickup, taking up some room as well. Then you've got a 12-inch boot box. Now we only did the partial across here just because we are dealing with this door coming in, saddle racks located right here. We didn't want to get it too tight and too cramped right here as you come in. We wanted it to be able to flow. So as you come in, you don't even have to move your saddle racks out of the way. You can keep them actually in, but you can still get by if you want. So again, we opted to keep that boot box kind of away from this driver's door. But it also works as a great step if you do want to hop up into the gooseneck. One of the other things, this might be a small little option, but because of the lights in here and dual doors, we wanted a light switch at each door. We go ahead and add that in because if you hop in from one direction or the other, you can just step in and turn your lights on. We carpeted the entire partition wall. I think it deadens a lot of the noise in these trailers, but also more importantly is now as we hang from the bridle hooks up here, our tack isn't swinging against an aluminum wall, scuffing up the wall, scuffing up our tack itself. Also, it deadens the noise. You got to think about it. You have horses right on the other side of this wall, and as you're driving, it's not going to be swinging back and forth making a bunch of noise. So that's a really nice feature that we do quite a bit on our using trailers. We go in and carpet a lot of the partition walls. Then you have 2 rows of bridle hooks. We upgraded to a few extras. These are aluminum, powder coated. They're designing them themselves now, Cimarron is, so they're a lot taller and a lot deeper off the wall in my opinion, and then they've given us a little bit more spacing Usually you go into those older ones, they're so tight, things are trying to fall off if you're carrying a lot of different bridles and so forth. This is going to be able to, you can hang a lot more, and again, that depth is there, so we shouldn't have things falling off. And then behind, that's kind of wasted space back here in this corner. So behind there, we put a 25-gallon gravity feed water tank. Water tanks can be added to about any trailer, but we've gone in quite a bit in our inventory and just put them on. Customers really like it. It's fantastic from the standpoint of carrying water from home, or if you're traveling, you're waiting in line, you get somewhere late, to the event, maybe in your park a long ways away from a hydrant, you can at least carry 25 gallons of water on hand for your horses right here at the trailer. So as we joked, the his and her sides, because you can, maybe somebody's got one side of the trailer and the other person's got the other. So that way you can kind of keep saddles and horses tied specifically to one side of the trailer and work off of it. So that is why that setup has become just absolutely so popular. You also have the fold-up step going into it, so it's a real easy transition going in and out of those. But as you can see, there's a straight shot you can walk through without having to swing saddle racks out. You have a 16-inch awning light above it. They've actually opted for 2, which is, on this size of a trailer, is really, really smart, because now you have one over your tack door and then one a little bit farther back, as far as if you're, tacking, unsaddling right here from the trailer, you're going to be doing it in the dark at times. The bus windows on the hip wall, tie rings. These are rubber torsion axles upgraded to a 14-ply tire, so it's a heavier duty tire on this trailer here. And honestly, when we're building a trailer and then when we're getting into this, like a 5-horse, it is definitely worth upgrading to a little heavier duty tire. Again, there's 1 year no questions asked warranty on these, so if you catch road debris, if you catch a nail, if you have a blowout, they will replace it, no questions asked, within that first year. You're automatically enrolled in that. It's not through Cimarron. It is actually through Lion's Head, who's the vendor that Cimarron uses for their wheels and tires. And then you get your standard aluminum wheels on all your Cimarrons as well. Now, if you look up top, you'll notice that this has an 8-foot hay pod as well. So they wanted some additional storage up top, carry some hay, not just a hay rack. This one's an actual pod, so it's completely sealed off. I'll show you the ladder here in a minute after we get the back doors closed up and we're done looking at the stall area. But as we're looking at the stall area here, there's a couple different options you can do. Some customers prefer one big door over this opening, or you can do these dual 50-50 doors. So they opted for the dual 50-50. They're not as big, they won't wing out as much. That one door will wing out, and it is, fairly good sized, where this, this will kind of cover the left-hand side of the broom closet that I'll show you, and then the right hand wings out a little bit. If you want to add a rear ramp, we can do that as well. You just remove the rubber bumper and it attaches and folds up over the back doors. But, you have a big inviting stall area here with these bigger openings in this type of a scenario. One of the things that we really like to do is, there are circumstances where we have to do a telescoping divider, but we tried to not. We try to keep, all of our dividers solid, so we need to go ahead and add a little bit of length to this back stall in order to do that. Because if not, usually your doors are going to hit about here and the dividers are all going to be off the wall, to where this one here is going to go against the wall and then they'll all fold against each other. The other thing that this customer opted, like I mentioned, extra tall, extra wide, is typically our stalls we consider 39 inches, and that is kind of the standard out there in the industry. These are actually 42. We added 3 inches per stall. So if you have a bigger horse that needs a little bit more room, keep a little bit more comfortable, you can do that. We can go in and manipulate these stall sizes to fit about any horse you want. But solid dividers, you got your stud divider at number 1. They're padded as well. I like the stud dividers just because if you do have a certain horse that needs to be away from everyone else, it's good to have that. But also, if you need additional storage for any reason, you can do that in this first stall and not have to worry about items shifting and maybe getting underneath you know, underneath their feet as you're traveling, because you don't know about it if you don't have a camera system, which we can add camera systems to these trailers as well. But we get in the stall area here. One of the things you'll probably kind of gravitate towards is this floor. So this isn't the standard rubber mat. This is actually worm flooring. This customer opted for black with some green mixed in there. I'm not sure quite what the mixture was, but we can always go back and ask Worm, or I can ask the salesperson what that customer wanted. But this is what they wanted. This worm flooring is fantastic because now you never have to pull mats on this trailer again. And honestly, we have just, you know, really preserved the floor underneath this trailer. You know, urine is hard on aluminum floors. If you're running stall mats, you need to pull mats. You need to wash these trailers. You need to care for them. If you do, they'll last you forever. But if you neglect them, you're going to have a lot of extra expense down the road to go ahead and do an overlay or replacing that floor, which honestly, you could probably pay for this worm flooring 2-3 times over in those type of scenarios. So it's unpenetrable, so we're not allowing that urine to get down to the floor. It's fantastic. You can do different colors, black standard. We've got customers that are doing all kinds of wild colors. I heard just the other day that a customer is going to do black, pink with glitter in it as well. So we'll see that one in a couple months here. But now as we get back to the trailer itself, you got your kick mats on your hip side. You've got the recessed paddle latches into the wall. You know, if you really put your hands on these Cimarrons and walk through them, you'll notice nothing has a sharp edge, no 90-degree angles. I mean, everything has a radius to it. So it's really safe for the horses. Even the fender, as you notice, even on the back here, it's not just a 90-degree. They taper it towards the back of the trailer and even up. So we're really keeping animals nice and safe as far as that's concerned. We have quite a bit of airflow. We've got these big bus windows. I really give Cimarron a lot of credit. They try to maximize the size of window that they can on the hip wall, because you have to remember only half of this bus window is going to open. So we've got our big drops on the head side that I'll show you when we get to the outside of this trailer, but we have 5 roof vents since it's a 5-horse. You can always go in and add more if you'd like. We can do it after the fact, or when we're ordering them, we can add more, do less, whatever you'd like. But you have 2-way roof vents, so we can manipulate airflow. And then you have the standard insulated roof on every single Cimarron. That will keep this stall area about 20% cooler than an aluminum sheeted roof. We have messed around here at the lot with thermometers in trailers on real hot days, and I can tell you there is a massive temperature difference. Come into the store when it's, you know, summertime and 95 degrees at 5 o'clock on a out here on this asphalt, and we'll take you to different trailers and put you in the stall area, and you will notice a difference. So we need to keep these animals nice and comfortable, and by doing that, it definitely helps. 5 LED lights, that's standard since it's a 5-horse. We like to upgrade to these OptiBrights. They're a bigger, you know, light itself. They put out a whole lot of lighting. You know, since they're LED, that's not a big power draw, but compared to the standard LED light with a fogged lens, these are a lot larger, put out a lot more lighting. We like to go ahead and upgrade to them. Now, before we wander out of this stall area, well, let's talk a little bit about that floor. We mentioned it earlier in here, but now let's talk about the construction itself. We are standing on the industry's best floor. It is a 12-inch deck. It's interlocking. So it's tongue and groove, high and low. It locks into place. But there are 4-inch centers. So imagine hoof size of a horse. Wherever there's a horse standing on a Cimarron floor, they're standing on a support beam. In my opinion, the quickest way to tell quality of a trailer is just crawl underneath and look at the floor. That will be your dead giveaway. As trailers and their centers start spreading apart, more than likely it's less material, which means that, you know, the price goes down as well. But when you start spreading those centers out, that has the potential of creating those pits or waves in a trailer where you can have some urine actually collect, and that's not what we want to do. You know, urine is very acidic, so it'll start corroding that floor, and by doing that, again, we've got the potential of doing damage to that floor. So that's why maintenance is very, very important when it comes to that. But on this, again, the industry's best floor out there. We've got light switches behind that door. So each side of this trailer in the stall area is on an individual switch. So the rear, passenger side, driver's side, and interior, I can run from right here, and I can do them individually, which is really nice just because I don't have to turn everything on if I don't want to. Now, to get up to the pod, got to get up there. So we have a ladder. A lot of times you can do a couple different versions. You can do a bolt-on, which is straight up. I'm not as much of a fan of a bolt-on, but some customers do like them. But there is the easy angle ladder that was optioned on this trailer. So now, as you can see, I can just extend it out. I can actually go up this ladder even carrying something. With a bolt-on, you can't. You're going straight up the side, so a lot more difficult. This is fantastic. This is a new version that they've come out with. You know, in the past, we've always told customers, hey, you know, before you go anywhere, you got to make sure you step on this or push it down to lock it into these rubber sockets here. But they've gone in and added this pin as well. So as you see, when I'll do that again for you. So as I pull it out and I push it down in there, it automatically locks. So now it cannot bounce out when you go down the road. You're probably not going to notice it because it's at the back of the trailer. But by putting that safety step in there, that's something they've recently come out with, maybe in the last 4 to 5 months, and I really like that. And it's real simple to use, as you can see there. Now let's talk about the storage. Again, a lot of storage. They went with an 8-foot wide because they wanted mangers that I'll show you here in a second. But behind the mangers in this back corner, a broom closet. These broom closets are awesome because they're so tall. Our mangers were kind of limited because we have the drop windows above them. Here, you've got a lot more room to put a lot more items. One thing that we did was we actually shifted the bridle hooks up a little bit. They used to be here in the middle. We could actually go in and do another set right here on this bar that runs across. But our thought was, hey, if you're taking a fork or anything like that and you want to hang them up, they're taller, you can actually set them up there on those hooks. But a really good storage room as far as that's concerned. Here's these drop windows that I was telling you about in the inside there. Again, trying to maximize as much airflow as we can, which means you need a bigger opening. So Cimarron does a fantastic job, with their framework between the windows, actually really getting, a big, massive opening, creating a lot of airflow. You get the jail bars that are standard, so these can fold down very easily. But I also want you to notice how big this framework is. A lot of trailer manufacturers will have minimal framework or no frame at all. They're a prefab window, so there's no framework around them. Those are they're real lightweight. You got to be very careful with them. If you have them down and somebody tied it out here, no kidding, you can take it in your hand and it'll wobble like this. So you can imagine if a horse does hit it, you have the potential to break something. But big, massive framework. You have the welded hinges with grease zerks, so easy to maintain. When you put that grease in there, there's actually grooves in the pin that go in this whole mechanism. So when you open and close them, when you put grease to it, it's actually feeding that grease throughout that hinge itself. And you always have to just stop and admire the welds. The fit and finish on a Cimarron is phenomenal. I mean, I really challenge you. There are some really good trailer manufacturers out there on the market, but put your hands on a Cimarron, start looking at those little items, look at the floor, but then go look at somebody else, and we're really confident you're going to be happy with these Cimarrons. One of the other things is they're just always trying to be innovative, always trying to improve the trailers. One of the things they've done is they put a drip rail. Now, they didn't reinvent the wheel by putting a drip rail above the windows, but a lot of manufacturers will actually take just a strip of aluminum and weld it above there. That piece right there is actually extruded. So you see these side extrusions around the window. It's the same, but they have a specific extrusion just for that drip rail. So those are just for above doors, above windows like we're looking at right now. And that's really good to get that moisture away. I mean, they have a real good weather seal in there and a real good fit and finish as far as that close goes itself on these windows, tack doors. But if we can eliminate that water, that moisture from getting in there, we're not going to have them freeze up You know, here in Colorado, we'll have real cool nights, and you know, we'll warm up pretty rapidly. So when we get a lot of that, you know, melt coming off, whether it's snow off of the roofs, and then it freezes at night, that's where then all of a sudden you got a tack door, a drop window you can't get open. So that's kind of a newer option that they've been putting on them, and not even an option, that is standard on them. And then on this one, they've got mangers as well. I'll open a couple of these bays so you can kind of see. Again, a ton of storage on this trailer. There are 4 doors on this one as far as the manger access. There's LED lights in there. Same big framework, same welded hinges with grease zerks. Every one of these latches on this trailer is key to light, so you only need 1 key to run everything. And then the first door is a little bit larger because we're ahead of the axles far enough that we can allow for a bigger door. If I can, I really like putting these bigger doors on there. It's just a lot easier accessing things. You know, maybe put your smaller, lighter items back there in the wheel well area, and your larger items that maybe just take a little bit more getting them in and out of these mangers forward. And then on your, like I mentioned, in the inside there, we've got an escape door here at 1, so we have that stud divider. So if you have those smaller miscellaneous items in there and you're loaded with horses, you can still access some of those from right here. And then as we get to the tack again, there it is, the mirroring tack door, swing out saddle rack, and fold up step. So again, operating off this trailer from both sides is real easy to do. A lot of storage, as you can see. I mean, again, it's my opinion, but I really like the layout of this for a using trailer in today's market. And honestly, you know, hopping out and being able to work off of both sides of the trailer, not having to lug a saddle all the way around, it's just, it makes it a lot easier on you and everyone else. So again, unfortunately, this trailer is sold, but we love showing you all these options just to show you what we can do. Obviously, we can tweak this any way you want. I'm going to give you the stock number on it just for reference. It is a 2022 Cimarron Norstar 5-horse gooseneck. Stock number is 5N211937. So give us a call. We've got all kinds of trailers on order. A lot of them are at a point where we can go ahead and tweak them, or we can start from scratch on something. But if this is an ideal scenario for you and maybe a little change or two, all we have to do is look up that stock number, go in, we can make those changes and quote you out a trailer. So give us a call, and anybody on the sales team can help you out. Our number is 303-684-3400. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good day.